We're live.
All right. Live.
Hey, Mr. Richard. Hey, Mr. Sparks.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a good day today. Let me get this cell phone situated out real quick.
And y'all, I'm exhausted. That's all I got for today. Hey, Mr. Conroy.
Hello, everyone. Gonna type it in too.
Yeah.
I want to join the chat. All right.
Let's join the chat.
The phone. Hey, Misty. Hey, Gary. Hey, Mr. Dennis. Mr. Richard. How y'all? Everybody doing tonight? Ooh, yeah, it's been a busy day too today.
She's painting but listening.
Okay.
She's always busy.
Yeah.
Hey, Plowboy. Hey, Becca. Bye. Somebody knows my name.
Good. Good. I was reading what Mr. Richard Jr. said up there. Hello, came over from Woodwalker's Fire Starter Pyro Little Possum Show.
Yep.
Oh, my. Yep. I done texted him at, so he.
Yep.
Hey, Wanda, how you doing?
He's not happy with me. I told him we'd get Mr. Jim to come help him with that fire. I got called an a-hole. I did.
Oh, my.
So, yeah. But little possum's starting a fire, so I know 10 minutes in, he was still trying to start a fire, so told him Mr. Jim would come help him out.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, we got to have a little fun, folks. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Got to have a little fun and cut up with each other.
Spencer, we love you.
Yeah. He'll be along here in a minute, probably.
He's probably cooking now, though.
Yeah, he may be listening.
Yeah.
I get to talking little possum a lot. He'll have to pop in somewhere.
Yep.
So I hope everybody's had a good week. It's been a busy week for me and Rebecca at work. And today was kind of an interesting day. I went to load my tractor to head to the hunting club for tomorrow and had a flat on the trailer. Tried to put air kept hissing out. So I had to jack the trailer up with the tractor on it. Took the tar off to go see if they could plug it and get up over there and find out.
Did we check the corn patch today?
No, I have not looked at the corn patch today. Mm-hmm. We will talk about that here in a little bit, though. We'll get into the corn patch some. And but I haven't checked it today. I've been busy fooling with a tractor and trailer and went in town.
And I've been at work since daylight. Every day for this week, it seems like.
Hey, Mark Creel, good to see you too, man.
Hey, you're not too late today.
Come on in pretty good now. So we're just getting started. So it's been an interesting day. Tomorrow, I'm going to spend part of my day up on the hunting club, bush hogging fields and getting stuff ready to plant. Still, we finally got a little rain, but it's not good enough rain. It maybe settle the dust. That'd be about it. So
not much at our house at all.
They're talking about next Thursday. There's a good chance of rain. I think and Friday. Yep. So we'll play it by ear and see what happens. So
I gotta rake some more of that grass up.
Yep. So, but yeah, get the tractor back home. We'll just put the rake on the big tractor. You can just use it to rake if you wanted to.
Okay.
Till we can get
a hay rake.
Well, that and get the one straightened out for the little tractor.
Yeah.
But because I need to clean them pins on it. But anyway, she's got a topic she's going to start off on. Because we said we was going to.
I thought you were going to start off on it.
No, I'm going to let you talk about you. Well, that's more your subject.
Yeah.
So we said each week we was going to try to have a plant. We missed y'all last week when we were live. We went down and done a little paranormal outing / Bigfoot at the old church. Not much happened either way, really. I think it was too many people.
Yeah.
We had some younger kids there, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they was making a lot of racket. And
I'm not so sure the investigators wanted to be there to start with.
Yeah, they kind of acted strange too. So, hey, Brian, good to see you.
Hey, Mr. Brian.
Glad everybody's come in, but we will get on the subject of the corn patch here toward later. We'll talk about that a little bit. But we'll go ahead and let Rebecca get started off on our plants that we're going to do each week when we have a live. So,
anybody know what this is? We've talked about it before. It's got purple berries, and these are actually almost ripe. When they first start producing, they are, Lord, they're like a bright purple. They're a pinky, almost lavender type purple. But as they get ripe, you can see they're getting more of a grape type color. So this is actually called beautyberry. And as you can see, it produces the berries around the stem of this plant. So this is a very good herbal that we all need to be, not poison ivy. This is beautyberry. So when you're out in the woods and you're looking, especially this time of year, late summer, fall, look for these purple berries. It's going to be all the way up and down the stem of this shrub. This is a very good plant for a lot of reasons. So these leaves here, in the old days, they used to put them underneath the saddles of horses and stuff, because there are actually chemicals in this leaf. I said that already. There's actually chemicals in this leaf that act as a bug deterrent. It repels fleas, ticks, ants, mosquitoes, all of them. And I'll give you just a little bit what the name of that is. But it actually does contain actual chemical type stuff in these leaves that is a good bug repellent. And what they do to get that out is basically make a distillate of it. And I know I've said it before, you take and put it in a crock pot with some water and put a bowl in the center, and then turn your crock pot on with the lid upside down. That way your lid's forming a upside down dome basically, and it all drips into the bowl. That way your water is actually holding the chemicals in this leaf, the oils in this leaf. So this is a very good, they used to take and rub the leaves on their bodies, all that good stuff. You've got a very good bug repellent in this. Now, what else did this actually get used for? So the roots, the leaves, and the berries have all been used through history in different ways. They would take the leaves and the roots, I think it said, and boil them together like a tea to treat colic in babies. It also has been used to treat, I think it was dysentery and stuff like that. But all the parts of that root, dysentery, stomach aches, dizziness, all the parts of that plant can be used and are edible. Its medicinal purposes include treating malarial fevers and rheumatism. The roots are for dizziness, stomach aches, and dysentery. The roots and berries, I was wrong. The roots and berries, not the leaves, were boiled to treat colic, boiled and drank like a tea. You can make jelly out of the berries. The berries actually have a lot of moisture content in that berry when it's ripe. It is edible to humans. It is non-toxic to dogs and cats. A lot of your wildlife actually eats the berries of that. Deer love the leaves themselves. So there's a lot of uses for a beautyberry. Now, this is where I do have to tell you, you need to make sure you're finding the native variety of this, not the hybrids that they're selling for landscaping and stuff like that. There are some that produce berries like hanging in clusters. That is not the medicinal variety at all. Just that way they and see. Let me just, like he said, let me show you this again. I'm going to show you from the stem. Do y'all see how that is going all the way around the stem? So that is actually what you're looking for. It is not hanging from the stem or anything like that. It is produced around the entirety of the stem. So this is the stem right here, that dot. So the leaves are coming out of the clusters and everything. Pretty cool, isn't it? So
it's actually a pretty plant.
Yep, it's a very pretty shrub, and I'm going to have it in my video for Monday if I get it uploaded, telling about it. But yeah, it fights. I mean, it's got so many uses. You're just going to have to Google it. I was looking on my phone to make sure I covered everything. But yeah, you make jelly out of it. The berries actually don't have a good taste, is what I'm hearing. That it's more of an astringent flavor. But when you make the jelly, it pulls out a grape flavor somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that works unless the what's it called?
Process does something.
No, the
stuff you make jelly with.
Yeah, that stuff. Pectin, unless the pectin is the apple. The pectin usually comes from apples, so it may be mixing with that and creating a grape flavor. I really am not exactly sure, but usually your pectins are apple flavored. But yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with that.
Right.
So look it up.
So, and there's a lot of plants that you'd just be surprised as long as you get the right one, because a lot of stuff has been created, made hybrids because of shrubs and stuff. But actually, hey, Prospecting USA, also they make a beautiful yard ornament, so you could have two things going on there. Hey, Flat Rock, good to see you.
They are very pretty.
Hey, Blue Eyed Northern. You could see, you could have a plant just like we were talking about with the Jerusalem artichokes, a plant that you could grow around your house, probably even in your woods, that nobody would pay attention to
unless they knew what you knew.
Yeah. So something to think about. They're real pretty. They grow wild around here. You see them everywhere. Up there on Creepy Mountain's full of them, especially around the lake area. It's full of them up there. And so we
actually got this from out there at Dollar, from the woods looking for that cemetery.
Oh, okay, that's right.
That's where it come from.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you do what we did, make sure you leave plenty in the area. It's not advised to take too much of any one item from the woods, because that is how plants go extinct. Just saying.
Well, I think they're pretty plentiful, though, wherever I've seen them.
It depends, because, wild plums used to be.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it is a beautiful plant. It's a very beautiful plant.
It has actually darkened in color since y'all were here. So.
Yep. Can you make cuttings off of it?
Probably. Right now, you probably couldn't. But like early spring, before it blooms type thing, when the new growth is hardened off some before it blooms. Right now, all that energy is going into the production of those berries and everything versus production of growth and roots. Okay. So I always try to tell people the best time to get cuttings of any plant is when it's not in bloom and not in production.
Right.
So,
which would be early spring.
For this one, yes. Unless it's blooming in early spring, and then you've got to get it in fall.
And if y'all know of any plants you'd like for us to talk about that me and her may not think about,
feel free to leave them in the comments.
Leave it in the comments.
Send them to us in an email.
And we'll find out. If we don't know something about it, we'll try to find out about it.
Not experts by no means.
No, but we'll try to, because that's what we want people to learn, what they got around them, that that they could plant around their house. Because I'll tell you, I know people get tired of me harping on it, but we've got food issues coming. If I could, get into it without really getting into it too much, but there's a lot going on with our agriculture land and throughout this country. I just listened to somebody talk about how many foreigners were buying up farmland. The average age of a farmer in the United States now is 60 years old. They said in the next 20 years, as these farmers retire and get to the point they can't physically hold up to this type, that they already seen that the kids are not following suit, that most kids are wanting to not deal with nothing. And as soon as the aging parents pass away or something, they're just selling off the land. And of course, there's a big influx of foreigners buying the property. So food could start really becoming a issue very soon. And I encourage every one of you, if it's where you can, get some stuff on your property if you have enough property. If you don't, find some people that's homesteading close to you and start buying from them and become a regular customer, because they'll usually remember who their regular customers are when things happen, and you'd have a place to get food, because that is hey, Miss Jean, good to see you. That is the issue that's coming. And the water, we're going to have some water issues too, but I'm not going to get into that real deep on that tonight. But is there any wild plums around anymore? Well, I see them every now and then. Not like I used to. I think once the counties went to spraying Roundup on the roads, they killed a lot of them, because you see them all on the roads everywhere and around fence rows. Ever since Roundup has become very popular and people have begun spraying their fence rows, spraying everything with it. I don't know if y'all noticed it, but a lot of stuff's disappeared slowly.
Wild persimmons is another one.
Yeah, you don't see them here like I used to when I was growing up. Everywhere there used to be wild persimmons. We've got a few on our property. There's a few on the hunting club.
But the people there don't know what they got, and they want to cut them all out.
Yeah, so they think it's just we had a spot up there that there was about 20 persimmon trees coming up, and they went in there and bush hogged it. And I'm like, why? We should have been throwing fertilizer to them, because that right there in a few years would have fed a bunch of deer and everything else right in there. So
hate to hear that, Bobby.
Yeah, that's what's really happening. Is that is a big movement. Of course, we know a couple of the elites is buying up a lot of land too.
Yeah,
and buying millions of acres of it. So I encourage everyone to start trying to at least do something around your house.
That's been around. It's just now starting to.
Well, there's a law now. They have to put it on there. That's why.
The laws. Yeah.
It's
and it's slowly making its way out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did the law get a date as to when everything had to be published on?
Oh, I think it's there now.
Is it there now? Because there's still some stuff that doesn't have it yet.
Yeah. So
pretty much all of your bioengineered stuff is definitely going to be anything with corn in it. Soybeans, corn syrup, of course.
Pretty much, they have got GMOs and everything now.
Yeah, the wheat.
The wheat, and y'all would be surprised if you knew how wheat was gathered. Most people, when they harvest wheat, they spray it with a Roundup before they harvest it. There was
I told somebody else about that. They didn't know. They were shocked. Because
they want the wheat to all die at the same time. Because if you don't, you'll have still green wheat in there, and then it don't sell good, and blah, blah, blah.
The moisture contents is off in spots and causes problems.
So they want to spray it and harvest it at one time. And there was a guy made a comment, and I can't remember where it was at, but he was an engineer for one of these big agro companies, and he said the wheat in the United States is not for human consumption.
Should not be, no.
So that tells you something.
Yep. And pork is GMO now as well.
Yes.
They have gone in and genetically modified hogs for production. The chicken that people grow, the Cornish cross, that is not a genetically modified chicken. It's just a cross that produces a strange bird.
Yeah.
But there is actually where they have gone in and played with the genetics of hogs and created genetically modified pork.
Yeah. So you go, and it's tough to get away from it. I understand.
It is very tough
because everywhere you look, everything is.
Yep.
And the only way you can do it is be self-sufficient, and it's very hard to be self-sufficient.
Well, and in our case, we try to be self-sufficient, but by the time we have done our jobs, come home, worked the farm, done all the stuff we got to do, we're too tired to cook it.
Yeah. So, but we're getting there slowly. We're getting better, and that's all you can do is try better and better every day to try to strive to get to where you need to be.
Yep.
And it takes money too. A lot of people go jump in homestead and don't realize how much it costs when you start building fences, building pens, the feed. And
that's not even building these big old fancy raised beds that people think they have to grow a tomato.
Yeah. So it's that's why I push getting the cattle buckets.
Did we say hey Pyro yet?
Hey Pyro, I just seen him come in. So that's something that you can do pretty easy and slowly start off. And they don't hogs. They've played with genetics on them so much.
Yep.
And for long they'll be playing with the cattle if they get a chance.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I heard. And that's one reason they after them about the methane gas is they can't, it's harder for them to control the cattle. They can't get their hands on all the cows. But it's coming. They will. They'll figure out a way to mess that market up. In fact, they did some of it here. Yes, I agree. It's hard to do it on your own.
We did freezer meals one time. That was very good.
Yeah, and we might need to get back to that some.
It's hard to do
because
you got to do a day of it basically.
Yeah, it's
which
tough.
I don't have a day of it.
It's tough. I agree.
If it was more than just me and him, me and you, there was more than just that, it'd make life easier. But we both work 2 different schedules on top of that. Totally different schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm mostly weekends and you're off on weekends.
Right.
Which makes it very hard. We don't have the extended family that comes in and help, like a lot of places do.
Right.
But it's a learning curve.
So I would really, really be paying attention to that. I'm not trying to be a fear monger or any of that. And I ain't trying to tell you to become a prepper. But I'm just saying, start looking at different things and start doing some of your own stuff if you can. I know some of you may not be able to. If you got family, or find a homesteader somewhere close to you. I ain't talking about a big row cropper.
No.
Or somebody like it, because they're going to be the ones using the chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cryptid. Crystal, good to see you.
Crystal. It takes a village.
It does. So, it's tough. I agree. I mean,
enjoy, Spencer.
It's all right. I hope you cooked us something good tonight, Spencer. But it's hard. I agree. It's very hard. And other thing is also water. Water is something to start thinking about.
Who was it that we were talking about? Oh, believe it or not, it was actually Scott. We were talking about, you just reminded me with the water. It takes as much space to store an empty jar as it does a full jar.
That's true.
So the old timers used to actually put water in the jars.
Interesting.
Yep.
Like right now, in some of the coastal areas, they're having problems with the seawater getting into their fresh water underground. I know Mississippi's having some of that problems. I heard Louisiana was. I don't know about Alabama or Florida, but or Georgia, but they're saying a lot of salt water is getting through somehow, and it could be killing a lot of folks' wells. Also, it can get into the city water, and then they have to really work on getting that salt out. So something else to keep in mind, that your water supply could be in a critical situation pretty quick. Especially all of us, we're on city water right now. I do need to get these wells on my property going. To get them going correctly, it's going to cost me. If I do it the very electrical way, that is, hook up to a electrical pole and put a pump in, I'm looking at $700-800, maybe $800. If I want to do solar, I'm looking at about $3,000 to $4,000, and so some things to think about on that. So I know most people don't have wells no more, but just keep keep some water at home if you can somehow. And let's see. Wait a minute. What's going on with Crystal and what's she saying here?
Let me retag it all for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. She asked for prayers, doesn't that? Okay. All right. We'll make sure to remember that later here when we pray again. I remember that other day too, Crystal, and I did pray about that. So we'll keep that going. Let's see. Anything else we're going to talk about on the homesteading side that you want to talk about? Oh, you got a bunch of books. Here we go. Have at it,
so one of our previous shows, somebody wanted me to talk about the best book out there for homesteading. And I don't know what that best book is, but I did want to show you this book that I just got. And actually, I was talking about it with a customer, and when they left the store, they handed me a brand new book. And this one is one that I would actually recommend to a lot of y'all.
Yeah.
So this is a very good book.
How much is it?
This one, well, you can find it cheaper, but it's $24.95 at Tractor Supply, in US dollars. But so you can find it on Amazon cheaper. Yeah. But it's got herbal stuff in here. It's got how to do certain things in here. I mean, it's got making tourniquets, casting. It's got basic stuff throughout this whole book that's not just herbal. So this would actually be a good book for y'all, I hate to even show this picture, but we're going to show this picture because there may come a time that somebody has to deliver a baby, and that's in here as well. I mean, that actually just surprised me right there, flipping through here. And I mean, it tells you exactly what to expect to help somebody give birth in the actual scenario where there's no help. So this is actually a very good book if somebody wanted a first start emergency herbal book.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing that I'm going to recommend, guys, making herbal teas is so much easier than making tinctures and decoctions and distillates and all this, that, and the other. A tea is so much easier. You just clean the parts that you need, dry them in a dehydrator or out in the sun, and then you store them like that.
Hey, Joe Parker. Good
and
to see you, bro.
You just pour boiling water over it to make your tea, basically. One of the books that I found for that, this one has several different ways to brew tea. Believe it or not, it's a book strictly on teas. A lot of Rosemary Gladstar's books, those are good also. And a lot of them are teas also. Now, one of the things that I like about Rosemary Gladstar is that one of the books that I have of hers that I can't find right now, it talks about how some of the herbs are cool and how some of them are hot, and that you've got to look at the person and their personality and their bodies as to knowing which herbs that you need. So as we have seen, there's a lot of herbs out there that work for congestion. There's a lot of herbs out there that work for pain or for blood pressure. So which one do you need? So she's got that book out there, Rosemary Gladstar. She's got that book out there that you actually take the person and look at what herbs they need based off of the person's constitution. Is the person somebody always hot? Well, if they're always hot, then you want to use, herbs for an always hot person. If the person's always cool, you want to use herbs for that type of person. So it helps narrow down the field of what herbs do I use. So just something that you want to think about. The Healing Kitchen. I know y'all can't see it, the glare, but it's called the Healing Kitchen. So this one, it uses herbs in your cooking and stuff. Herbal Handbook. I have so many books on herbs, guys. I'm going to say this right now. Why do I have so many books? Because there's going to come a time that we don't have the availability to pull stuff off the internet.
It very well could be, yeah.
So either do your research now and devote pages of notebooks to all your information that you're learning, or buy books, because that's what I've done. We have 2 bookcases full of stuff just for herbs and homesteading and stuff like that. Is it all the knowledge that we will ever require? Probably not. But it's a good start.
Yeah, it'd be some stuff we just had to. And if any of y'all been here and been in our living room, you've probably seen all the books over here in one place. And that ain't all of them.
It's not. I've got several still in storage even, I think.
Yeah. And I've got some hid out through the house.
Yeah, there's a small bookcase in one of the spare bedrooms. There is craft books in the other spare bedroom. And then there's a bookcase in our room as well, just of different books and things. So, but I definitely wanted to share that Herbal Medic with y'all, because that is one that I really think a lot of people ought to actually have in their bookcase, because it's not just herbs, it's how to actually help somebody in need. We're not, most of the time when we're talking about herbs, we're like, oh, I've got high blood pressure. What do I need to do to fix it? Oh, I don't heal well. What do I need to do to fix it? Well, this is an instance where you're out and about and you run across a person that has cut themselves. What do we do, and how do I use herbs to do it?
Oh, it's a lot of stuff to try to sink in at one moment.
It is.
That's really why you need books, because you can't remember all this stuff. You can't.
And if you don't want to buy a bunch of books and you want to go the learn it on the internet route, pick one plant and learn everything you can about that one plant.
Yeah. It's there's so much to this subject of homesteading. Yeah, I mean, you can branch off every which way you can. Animals.
There are herbs that help with diabetes, yes.
Yes, they are.
But they don't replace insulin. So if you are type 1 insulin dependent, then there's not much that's going to replace insulin.
And what a lot of people don't know is all the vitamins and stuff we take
aren't really helping.
Ain't really helping because our body does not digest them good.
Nope.
So we ended up getting rid of them, how. So I ain't gonna go get graphic here, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of it just passes on through you. It doesn't break down. So you know, so
I figured you were, Mark. That's why I made the point I made.
Yeah.
There's when you become insulin dependent, there's not much help in that department. Now there's a lot of herbs that will help prevent you from becoming insulin dependent to start with. But unfortunately, if you are the one that's had diabetes your entire life and you've had to take insulin since you were a kid, basically, that type 1 diabetes where your body doesn't produce it, that's a whole different ball game than your body doesn't know what to do with it.
And I guess most of y'all know most of our problems stem, I can't even talk tonight, from sugar.
Plantain is another good herb, yes. But for people that are like me, I'm pre-diabetic. Cinnamon, actual real cinnamon, Burberry or something like that. There's Bill. I can't remember the names of them right now. I've got several different ones that can actually help with processing sugar and helping your body use the insulin it produces. We have a road directly behind us.
Yeah, so you may have seen a
so
car
that's
go
probably
by.
why you saw it.
You probably seen a flashlight. I hope there ain't no aliens landing in my front yard. I don't need that right now.
Yeah, so where you are,
I don't want to be fussing, fighting with somebody tonight.
Where you are, you
I'm just cutting up there.
You don't have a lot of help in that department. You need to figure out a way to make insulin. And I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's
going back to what Mark was saying, though, you know, there's all sorts of iron supplements in the world. I have iron issues, but there's all sorts of iron supplements that they make out there. But 90% of those supplements go right through us. How many people knew vitamin C was needed to absorb iron? Not a lot of us. How many people knew caffeine interfered with the absorption of iron? Not a lot of people. Everything I pull up on the internet about ways to help your body store iron, everything I read says sweat causes your body to go through more iron, basically. But yet I asked my doctor and they said they've not heard of that. But yet every research that I have done about things that interfere with iron absorption, every one of them mentions sweating. And I sweat a lot because I work outside. So, but my doctors have never heard of it. So there's a lot of stuff that the doctors don't know still too, because there's just so much. But yeah, iron needs other things to help it be.
Hey, David, good to see you.
Be used. Magnesium helps with so many things. Y'all don't even know.
Right.
I mean, it helps with that, yes, but it also helps with some body aches and pains. It also helps with migraines. I mean, there's a lot of things.
I think I was reading something where a lot of people have it that don't have enough magnesium.
They don't.
So it's because the type of food we eat now. Let me go on this real quick too. Most of the land in the U.S. now is not fertile anymore. It's been worn out.
And when we talk about fertile, we're not just talking about NPK.
It's been farmed so much. We're having to use so much synthetic fertilizers, and synthetic means it was just processed. Because if most of you know, petroleum is in most fertilizers, and then so much salt is in it. Well, we know so much salt over time can make land sterile. Also, the use of Roundup continuously, also over time gets the ground to where it just doesn't like to grow nothing. They'll say that's not true, but you go talk to a lot of farmers that's been using that on row crop fields, then they try to turn that back into a pasture or a hay field. It takes them years to get grass. I know of a friend of mine, it took him 7 years to get a field that had been in cotton for 50 years, rotating between cotton, corn, and soybeans. and then he tried to get it back into a hay field, and it took him 7 years to get that field where it would produce grass good enough to bale for hay. And that's just from all them years of constant, herbicides being used. Also, a lot of people don't put lime on their land no more. They use a synthetic fertilizer, and what most people don't know about lime, even though it helps the pH, and that's its main thing, which also helps the plant take up nutrients better out of the ground. Your plant cannot take up nutrients it needs, and then it doesn't transfer it to the fruit or to the vegetable that you're eating, so you can be eating food that don't even have what you need in it. That's why lime is such a very important part of any type of gardening or farming or anything, even on your pastures, any of that. So
when we're talking about fertilizing, we're usually talking about NPK, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and calcium. K is calcium, right?
Yes.
But there's so many others that you should have. There's all those micronutrients. Iron is in there. Magnesium is in there. There's so many other little micronutrients that people don't even think about adding to the soils, which is another good reason that we need to add organic matter into our gardens and stuff, because all the organic matter that we have gathered up has pulled those micronutrients out of the soils, and we can just till it back in or compost it in, and we've got all the micronutrients going back into the soil.
So in other words, our food is not like our grandmother's food, probably. If you really want to get back, probably the land was a lot more fertile back then. And
we pulled it all out. Well, they put a lot of it out too.
Well, they did.
Because they didn't know.
And also, they were farming a lot of land they shouldn't have been farming. But they was trying to make a living, trying to eat. So they farmed what they could. Hand spread 12,000 pounds of lime from my food plots. Whoo! You need to buy you a spreader, David. Yep. Put on the back of the tractor. That's a lot. But yeah.
But we doing it too.
That is a good thing, because I told our hunting club, because our hunting club is mostly clay, the red clay mixed with rock. We're up on top of mountains. And, I brought up at a meeting one time. I said, hey, guys, we might need to put some lime up here. And they all kind of looked at me crazy, like I lost my mind. I said, the lime's going to help it more than the fertilizer. And that year I went and done our club is divided up in the areas. And I have an area of mine that I take care of. In other words, I'm the one that me and a few group of the guys go over on this side of the mountain. I bush hog, I plow the fields, and we plant them. Hey, Randy Seal, how are you? And
I bet you are, Mr. Blaylock.
Huh?
He said he's broken.
Well, I bet you are. That's rough. But that year I went in and got some pelletized lime, and I throwed a bag on each field, and I had people commenting, what in the world did you do them fields over? I said, I just throwed lime to them. They said, I ain't never seen a green field so pretty and green. And it was outdoing the rest of the fields on the hunting club. I ain't bragging. I'm just saying it worked. I've seen the difference. It made that ground change some difference. And so even for your hunting, that means that the deer or whatever you're building a feed plot for, elk or whatever in that part of the country you're in, David, those animals are going to be getting better nutrients out of the ground, because that plant's going to be able to take up more nutrients, going to transfer to them. And of course, you get to harvest the animal and eat it, so you get better nutrients too.
It'd be a better growing plant to start with, sweeter taste to it.
And the deer that year kept them green patches. Boy, they stayed in them. You could tell the difference. You could really tell the difference.
Yep.
And
yep.
And I need to do that again up there, but I just I hate to keep sinking money into that place up there. So.
I know.
All right.
And I just told Rusty that our fire pit night's tomorrow.
Okay, good. Maybe he'll get to show up.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish some of y'all were close enough. Tomorrow night will be our fire pit night. Boy, it's going to be a great night. Going to be down to 39 degrees Sunday morning. So tomorrow night will be a good night. And it's supposed to be a little windy tomorrow. And we still are in a burn ban in Alabama. So I'll have to watch our fire very closely. But our fire pit has a lot of gravel around it and then a big driveway around it, the circle. So, and plus I have a hose pipe that's 10 foot away.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I'll set up everything where there's no issues. And this one I'll probably use diesel fuel to start. I'm sorry.
Right.
Instead of paper, because paper makes a lot of
it does. It makes
embers.
a lot of
So tomorrow I'll probably be more diesel fuel.
Yep.
So yeah, I use diesel fuel to start my fires. I don't try to do like Spencer. I ain't knocking Spencer. I'm glad he tries.
Hey, it's a good thing to know because you may not have diesel fuel in the future.
That's right. I like just to aggravate Spencer about it. So, and everybody else does too. But no, he's doing really a good thing, trying to show people how to do stuff.
And people need to be learning ways to start a fire because there's going to come a day.
One of the easiest things you can do besides learning how to get you a bunch of magnesium sticks, keep them around too. And that'll help you too. So, all right. Anything else we're going to talk about toward the homestead?
I think we homesteaded out. I'm going to go around the yard and try to just do a video on all the different plants that's in the yard that make herbal medicine of some sort. Because, guys, the weeds in your yard is just unreal, the uses that they have.
Oh, yeah.
And tell you what, one of the things that has helped me with knowing what uses of plants are. So I know all of you have a phone. And I know a lot of you know what that little line right there across that phone is. That's your Google search bar. In that Google search bar is an image search. So what I have been doing is taking a picture of whatever that weed is in my yard and Google searching the image. And now you can't, I'm going to put out a couple of disclaimers here, guys. Those picture this apps and plant identity apps that are out there, don't use them. They're not very accurate. Okay. But if you use Google and you look at the sources of the information it pulls up, okay, that's the key to it, is where did they get that information from? So if you're identifying a plant and it pulls up a Facebook identity, ignore it. But if it pulls up a University of Ohio or University of Alabama type identifying website, I would say 100% of the time that is probably going to be a very accurate identity. That is what I use all the time. Y'all don't want to know how I feel about diatomaceous earth. So, like I said, I just do that reverse image search on Google for whatever plant I have in my yard, and it tells me a lot about that. Once I get my ID, then I can go in there and research that plant and find out its uses and stuff. But like I said, a lot of those picture this and ID this plant apps that are out there on them phones, you know who's identifying those plants for you? The guy next door. People are just making wild guesses out there. I had a wildflower come up in my herb bed. Didn't know what it was. It was a wallflower. It had a pretty yellow bloom. I mean, orange bloom. It was a wallflower. I finally figured it out. But I pulled it up in one of those apps, and it told me it was a cabbage. Yep. Yep. So that was the last time I used those apps. Now I just reverse image search on Google. Pretty much every phone out there nowadays has that ability. And like I said, if you just look at where your source of information is coming from and make sure that source is a valid source, like I said, it's going to be University of Ohio, University of Tennessee, all those different university sources out there. Those are generally a very good source of identity. And then you can go from there. So
go ahead and answer Miss Blue Eye about that.
I'm afraid to answer Miss Blue Eyed about that. Let me just go up here and start reading some of these comments.
Well, you need to explain
dedication.
why
I will. Spencer needs to learn how to start a fire with friction. I know I give Spencer a lot of crap, but for anyone who doesn't really know him, he's pretty smart. He is very smart about a lot of that stuff.
We just love to aggravate Spencer. That's all it is.
The fact that he can start a fire like that
is cool.
Is awesome.
He's very good at bushcraft, and I would not take it away from him.
That's why I wanted him to talk more about that when he was live on our show than Bigfoot, because he's got a platform for Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's see.
And that's one thing we want when we have people on live. We want to learn about you and what you do, not just Bigfoot, because I'd rather hear more about you than I would Bigfoot. I'll just be honest with you. Okay. All right. If you don't like it, Blue Eyed, I'm just going to tell you now.
Yeah, I don't like it. So, but here's the why. Okay, so originally, diatomaceous earth was the way that it is made. So it is supposed to be like a hard type structure to it. It's supposed to cut stuff. And by that, when you have a hard-bodied bug like a beetle walk across it, that's not going to touch it. It's not going to do anything to it. Now, if a worm or a snail slithers across it, it's going to cut it all up, and it's going to pull the moisture out of its body, and it's going to desiccate it, and it's going to work. Now, here's why I don't like it. Diatomaceous earth is not going to kill out an ant mound. You may get lucky and coincidence may happen and the ant mound moves. If you're treating your poultry flock for worms with diatomaceous earth, I guarantee you they didn't have it to start with. Okay? Why? Because once diatomaceous earth gets wet, it is no longer got sharp edges to it. Right. It pretty much turns into mush, like mud, and you can't cut nothing with mud. Okay. Everybody comes to where I work and they buy it to treat the roaches in their house. They're treating their dogs for fleas. The number of people that are taking it internally to prevent worms in themselves, and they're putting it in their chickens' feeders and all this, that, and the other. I really am not a fan of diatomaceous earth because it's not doing what everybody thinks it's doing. Because if you're taking it internally, it's done got wet. What is it actually doing? Nothing. Nothing at all. To me, it's like saying sand will kill worms. I've heard pumpkin is a natural dewormer. I don't know. I don't have any research on that. The number of people that puts apple cider vinegar in their chicken's waters, I actually did see research on this, believe it or not.
Hey, Mr. Mark, how you
when
doing?
You put that tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in 5 gallons of water, it's not doing anything. So this is where a lot of those, when we first started doing lives, we did a show on myths.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. Yeah.
That was 2 of the ones that we did in that show. Apple cider vinegar does have some very good things about it.
Yes, it's a good thing to have.
But when you water it down, it lost its ability to do what you want it to do. Same for the diatomaceous earth. Once you water that, it's gone. It is not killing any hard-bodied critter out there. It's only killing soft-bodied critters that kind of slither across it. And it's luck.
Now, I will tell you something that will work. It's cheaper, but you got to reapply it too over time. That's caustic lime.
Yes.
Caustic lime.
Because it burns.
It burns. It'll burn insects. Now, you got to be careful when you throw it out. Yep. You do not breathe it because it will choke you down and kill you pretty quick because when it gets in your lungs, it just sticks.
Yep.
So you probably need a dust mask on or a bandana and make sure the wind ain't blowing, or the wind is blowing, get upwind of it. But you can throw that stuff around your chicken pens, your dog pens, around buildings, and if you go put it on your crops, be real careful. I would sprinkle it kind of, I wouldn't throw it heavy, and it can that caustic lime. You can get a 50-pound bag for like $4, and it'll last you a while around. But just be careful with it, because what lime does, just like anything else, it sucks the moisture out of it.
It does,
and
it burns.
And it does burn. It don't burn bad. I mean, I can stick my arm in it. It don't burn me that bad, but you can feel the tingle. And when it hits the ground, buddy, you start seeing bugs flipping over. And I'll tell you something, it will work on a little bit, and that's fire ants. Powdered glass. Ooh, I ain't never heard that now.
Me neither.
Now, I'll tell you what my dad did use at times. He'd take gunpowder with snuff, and he'd make a little paste with put a little water, and he used that for wormer.
I don't know how that worked neither.
I don't know, but them dogs wasn't wormy, I can tell you that. But we never had to carry them. Used to give them worms, we didn't have none. All right. So you get you out of your system about that.
I did.
See,
glass casserole.
She gets going sometimes blue-eyed about certain topics, and what it is, she just don't like to see people waste their money.
That's it exactly. I'm all for herbal stuff. Yeah. I am all for herbal stuff that keeps us out of the pharmaceuticals and keeps us out of the doctor's offices and keeps us off of meds that don't do nothing but put us on to more meds. I'm all about anything that actually works, but y'all, I'm fixing to. Oh, I know. I'm fixing to give y'all the worst phrase that I probably shouldn't hate, but I hate, and I shouldn't hate it because we are it. But the number of people that come to where I work and tell me they watched a YouTube, and they don't want to hear anything I have to say. True. I mean, because they watch the YouTube.
Greg, good to see you, brother.
There are YouTube channels out there that are giving bad information. They're identifying plants incorrectly. There's a lot of bad information out there on YouTube, and just because they made it look pretty doesn't mean it actually does what they think it's going to do. Like mosquito plantings, they take and make this pretty little basket for their outings and stuff that's got marigold and citronella and lemongrass all in this pretty little bitty basket on their table, and think that's going to keep mosquitoes away. It's going to keep mosquitoes away from that basket, but not from everywhere else. Right. And I mean, hey, but they watch the YouTube, so. To buy for fleas inside. Honestly, it's going to be a chemical. And I don't know if they have it in the store at the moment, because they are changing out everything for winter and Christmas stuff, and all of our garden center stuff condensed down from 2 aisles inside and 1 aisle outside down to 1 aisle outside. So I think there's an ingredient that starts with an N that is what you need for fleas, because it will actually help break the cycle. You've got the egg, the what's that other one called? Nymph and the adult. Most ingredients will kill one of those, but not all three. Some of them will kill two, but not all three. I think the one that starts with an N, nylon or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But if you find that ingredient in your flea stuff, then that is the one you want, because it will break all three cycles. So
I hate to say it, there's some things you have
things you have to
use a chemical on.
And bed bugs, y'all, pray you don't ever get bed bugs, because there's not one that's going to fix it. You might as well go ahead and call your pest control company and be ready for the fight of your life.
Roaches is another thing hard to kill.
Yes, they
Remember,
are.
they can survive a nuclear blast.
Yep.
So they tough.
Yeah.
There's one thing out there to kill all this stuff, but they outlawed it years ago, and most of y'all that's older, kind of in my range or a little older, was the cotton poison, the original cotton poison.
We had somebody come in and ask for that.
Yeah, I know they don't sell it no more.
Mm-mm.
But that stuff, DDT. But like my daddy said, it was killing everything else too, birds and animals. And my grandfather refused to use it after all that. He when they walked out there and found squirrels and rabbits and quail and songbirds, and he said, "We are not using this," and he would not never use it again on cotton. So
it's not neem, because neem is organic. It's like nylar or something. I can't remember what the name of it is. But neem is organic. Yeah. And since I went ahead and touched on that, there's a whole nother rant coming with that too. Neem is an awesome product. Just saying. It's an organic product. However, anything that will kill a bad bug will kill a good bug. So don't think that just because you're using organic products that you're saving the bees, because you're not. The only thing that using organic products does is helps you feel better about what you're eating. So do keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's true, Greg. I've heard that before myself. Oh, me. Oh, me. Black Leaf 40, I believe that was I think it was. I can't remember. We're not in a tobacco growing area. Most people that grow tobacco around our area was just doing it for their home use.
Yep.
My uncle used to grow it, make his own cigars out of it.
Which we got those seeds and didn't even start them.
Yeah, I didn't plant them this year.
They will be planted next year.
And we're mainly doing it because we just want to see if we can grow it.
That's all.
That's really.
Tobacco makes a great medicine.
Actually, it does. And now you have to be careful around tobacco and tomatoes.
Yes. If you smoke and you're having problems growing tomatoes, that could be a reason why.
Yeah. Right. You have to be careful. Let's see. Anything else we're going to touch on homestead today?
Unless somebody else asks another question about diatomaceous earth. Probably not.
Yeah, a lot of the organic stuff doesn't always work.
It doesn't. I mean,
I hate to say it.
It works for basic problems. Every chemical out there has a thing that it treats. Neem oil, it will work on a lot of stuff, but it doesn't. No, that's not it. I don't know what that is, though.
Good night, Miss Jean. Glad you dropped in with us.
What was I saying? Oh, a lot of things. They'll work on some stuff, but they won't work on everything. And every pest has a specific chemical that will work on it. Mealy bugs, guys. Anybody knows what mealy bugs are?
Miss Bama, good
to see you. Awful little. No, that's not Miss Bama. That's Deep South.
Bama BF.
Oh, I thought that was Deep South Homestead. Sorry.
No.
Hey, mealy bugs is an awful little pest that you get in your plants, especially if you have a greenhouse, and it is awful. It looks like a fungus, like white mold growing on stuff, but it's actually a bug. And there is only one or two type of chemicals that will kill that sucker. And you have to get every nook and cranny to get rid of it. It's an awful little pest. And that's kind of like where fleas and stuff are. There's just sometimes, you got one flea. It's something may kill the one flea, but when you have an outbreak of fleas, there's not much you can do except go ahead and get the hardcore stuff.
Misty just hit on something that's real good, really. That's the way a lot of folks have to do it. Mm-hmm. If you really want to get rid of stuff, get out there and pick. It's work. I watched my daddy. But it
works.
My daddy used to tell me, he's Mark. He'd be getting up early in the morning heading to work because he still worked a public job too. But he'd say, your job today is go pick all them bean beetles off them beans. I'd be, oh man, you know. And I mean, it took a while. I was out there most of the day, but that's what we really had to do. I mean, 7 dust would knock them back some, but but 7 dust ain't good either.
And whenever we get the bad outbreak of them here, you see me out there mashing leaves, just squishing yellow bugs.
That's the true way of really getting rid of stuff, is to really get the heart of it.
Yep.
And I mean, it's time consuming.
Hornworms on your tomatoes. If you find them, just pick them off and throw them to your chickens.
Yeah.
Chemicals, I mean, they may work, but everything you put on your garden is poisoning your garden.
To be honest with you, the only way to really keep a garden is very manual labor work.
It really is.
You can cultivate with tractors to a certain point. That's why most farmers are using chemicals. They don't have the time to do it mechanically anymore.
That's why Roundup Ready become a thing. Right. That's why no plow become a thing, or no till.
To be able to do no till, you have to use chemicals. Because when they use the no-tiller, most of them, I don't know if you ever notice, there's a tank on them, and it's spraying Roundup right behind it. And then you'll see them later in the year come out with the big spray rigs, which that's more usually a pesticide they spray then, or a fertilizer.
I was going to say, they have a fertilizer that's liquid too.
Yeah, they do a lot of liquid fertilizer now. So that's why you'll see them big boom rigs come down the highway, and when he gets out in the field, he can do 40 foot one way and 40 foot another, so he can knock out a 100-acre field in no time. So, just
ooh, yeah.
What is it?
This.
Oh yeah. Yep. I've seen it. I've seen them wipe out pastures, hay fields, buddy.
Cotton fields, soybeans.
Everything. I'll tell you what we did though. Let me go right back. My daddy called the co-op and said, bring me a load of lime and spread it.
But you know what, Misty? That'll be a good field next year.
What's that?
She fertilized with horse.
Yeah, just watch that graze on, Misty.
Yep.
Just make sure you're getting hay. I seen you do as a coup hay show other day, live, whatever you want to call it, video. Excuse me, I get my mouth right here in a minute. But that was cool. I enjoyed. I used to love doing square bales. That was, it was rough, but it's fun too. And but make sure whoever you getting hay from, that they don't use a graze on. Because if it ever gets in that manure, and you get it in your garden, you have got a mess on your hands. Because
Graze-On doesn't compost out. It tells you on the bottle even that if you use the hay in compost, it tells you don't use the hay in compost. And it even tells you don't put the compost that you make in a garden. It tells you don't take the poop and put it in compost even. For any animal that eats Graze-On hay.
Well, they eat it. It passes through them into their manure, and
don't break down.
Y'all go watch Deep South Homestead down there in Mississippi. It was about last year or two ago. You can find it because he was hot under the collar. He had to redo. I mean, everything. He had a time. And Greg, we're thinking about coming up that way next weekend, maybe to the Pine Heart Farm Day, and then having a big international tractor show.
That's what I do, Misty.
And Faultville, which is right above, and me and her thinking about doing that Saturday.
Need potash.
Yes, sir. You need
fertilizer.
Potash. I think pecans need a lot of phosphate phosphate.
Phosphorus. Which is potash.
Yeah. Every time you burn a fire, Mr. Mark.
Misty, let me interrupt Mark here real quick. Just because they have expensive horses that are picky does not mean they're not spraying the field. Because that's why they spray the field, is for those expensive horses that are picky. Down
this way, now I don't know how they do in Tennessee. It may do different. But what I'm saying down here, and then we'll go back to pecans real quick before I forget. Down here, we got a lot of horse people too around Birmingham,
and they don't want no grass.
A lot of
they want one type of hay.
So they'll spray the field to kill any weeds. But I'm gonna say this: a horse, even though sometimes they don't have a lot of good sense as a mule does, they know the difference between grass and a weed.
Yes.
And I've watched my horses a lot of times throw the weed out to the side and they just eat the hay. But yeah, just be careful because some people, and they don't even think about it.
They don't, and they don't tell you.
You know, it's not they are not meaning to tell you. They just go spray their field early in spring and knock back the wheels. But I'm glad he doesn't spray, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing right there.
That's good to know. That's real good. No, yes, that's good.
That's a good.
And mixed grass is actually the best thing for a cow, horse, goat,
anything.
Because some of those animals, there is weeds that's actually good for them, and they will eat it. And there's some weeds they won't touch. But anyway, now let's go back to what Mr. Mark was saying about his. Yeah, I think I've heard zinc.
That too.
I've heard zinc. But anytime you build a fire, especially out of hardwood, like here at your house, if you burn a bunch of limbs, take that ash and go spread around that tree. Don't throw it on the trunk. Just throw it kind of where the roots are. Also, it wouldn't hurt to throw you a little lime under it. Go get you a bag of that pelletized lime from the feed store or Home Depot.
There you go.
You're talking about $4. $4 or $5 a bag, and that would do a lot of feet. So
what he said, yes. Don't just put it up close to the trunk. Put it out where the roots go. The roots go as far out as your limbs go.
Right. And if you get that black fungus on them, you need to, I hate to say it, then you're going to have to use a fungicide, which is going to be a chemical, but you may have to spray them. But sometimes they'll get that black looking fungus on them.
Copper sulfate work on that too?
It may do it. And the bad thing about pecans, you have to watch them. They'll get a darn worm in them too. He's up in Tennessee, so he might not have as much trouble with the worms as we do down this way.
Down here, it's awful.
But a lot of our pecans
here awful.
Get worms in them. I had to really watch them.
The pecans get worms. The peaches get worms. The apples get worms.
There's a predator for every crop out there.
In the South, it seems like there's a predator in every crop.
Well, yeah.
And in the South, it's like you got to spray everything all year long. But please do not let somebody tell you to put a systemic pesticide on your fruit trees. If they tell you to put a systemic pesticide or they mention that it pulls it up into the tree through the roots, don't do it.
Yes. But if you keep having trouble with them, Mr. Mark, you can always call your extension service there in Tennessee. I know probably there's a office probably pretty close to where you at, and they'll give you all kind of information on pecan trees, how to fertilize them, what all they need, what kind of bugs, what kind of stuff will work. All your states have extension services, and they will they'll help you. They try to help you. Now they're gonna push you on chemicals. They love to do that, but
if you tell them you want organic, they know organic ways too.
Yeah, so.
Because they have to know the organic methods as well, because they are very. They help all the different big farmers out there as well as the little farmers. And there are laws governing what can be considered organic or not organic. Right.
So just if you keep having problems, but it sounds like you need to put potash or that around them, and that might help them. It ain't gonna hurt to put lime around them. Lime doesn't hurt anything.
All the way out.
So yeah. If ours in limbs reach out, you can go that far because that's how far the roots are under the ground. The top of the tree, the bottom of the tree looks the same way underground. Yep. You know, it's kind of weird. But,
and that's a lot of times you'll see people getting rid of shrubbery around their property and stuff. I want y'all to picture, if you will, the small little round shrub that you have kept pruned into a little tight ball for its whole entire existence. Take that shrub and look it up and see what its actual growth is supposed to be, because that actual growth is where your roots are.
Yep.
Just so you know. A camellia, a lot of people are keeping a camellia, believe it or not, tightly pruned down.
Yeah.
And that camellia can be 20-foot spread, 30-foot tall tree. That's how far those roots are. So when you are seeing somebody giving away free shrubs that have been pruned for 20 years, you just got to come dig them up.
You're right, David.
Don't
Don't
do it.
lime blueberries. You're correct on that. They
Yeah.
like acid type.
Yep.
ground.
They like the opposite.
Yeah.
They like the same thing that hydrangeas like.
Right. Most anything you can lime, but there are a few things like blueberries and a few others that, yes, you don't want to lime. They like more of an acid type ground. But most stuff you can lime.
Most things, so neutral pH is 7. Most things like to be at 7. Some things like to be below 7. Some things to be right above it. So that's where the blueberries are. They like to be right above 7.
And there's a lot of information online, just like I said with the extension service. You can go into your state's extension service, and a lot of times they already have their websites set up for any different crops. They'll have it, in categories. They may have corn, your row crops. Then they'll have your nut trees, your fruit trees, your whatever.
They have it on growing berries, onions, garlic.
Yeah.
Individual greens. I mean, they've got publications on everything.
Right, and you can download it on your computer at home, print it out, and you'll have it. So there's a lot of ways. I always tell people, check with your extension agents. But one reason, they know what's good for your state and your area, because what grows good in Alabama might not do worth a flip in Tennessee, North Carolina, Arkansas, or vice versa. What grows good in Tennessee, Kentucky might not do good here, because there is a little, not much, but there's just enough of difference, in climate and different things.
Yep.
So Joe's napping. He done got tired of listening to everybody talk.
He's meditating, is what Mr. Haywood said.
Oh, okay. Meditating. All right, let's get off on this other subject then, because we already 8:15 already, so we won't get in it. So released the video Wednesday of the pictures from the cornfield. Didn't release them all, and like I said on the video, some of the ones, they were hard to tell, and I just didn't want to go through that trying to explain to people, hey, I know it is still hard to tell. I agree. There are some of them that was fairly clear. And it's just strange. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it.
It's hard for me to believe that all that was out there.
Right. Well, I'm not knocking.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we were out there.
Right.
It is very hard to believe we were out there and that was there. I mean, it's just.
Right. Well, one day you mentioned to me you seen movement in that corn patch. This was way before the video. Remember you said something?
We woke him up.
Oh, well, he's gonna listen to him now.
Yeah.
So, I remember one evening, me and you were out in the yard, and you said, "Woo, what was that in the corn patch?"
Yep.
And I looked and didn't see nothing. You said, "Well, it was something big."
Yep.
And I, in my brain, all of a sudden, I said, "Well, there's a deer out there." That's all I thought about. When I done that first video, I had no idea. I never got a bad feeling. I never got a vibe. Never smelt nothing. Never heard nothing. The only thing I noticed that day, sister acted a little funny.
Yeah. And I wasn't paying attention to nothing.
You were on the lawnmower cutting grass.
I was up in my own little world. I think I even had earbuds on probably, not paying attention to nothing, because I have kind of figured out I can turn it off.
Well, like Miss Bama said, it's hard to see them with your eye, and I agree. And they were moving around too, so I agree that makes things a lot. They were keeping up with me. They was watching what in the world I was doing. I probably surprised them when I come bebopping out there.
Because we don't go out there at X time on X day to do our videos.
No,
we do it when we can fit it in.
And that's what I told everybody on the video. Someday I might make a video on Friday. It might be Saturday. It might be Sunday. It might be
Wednesday morning when I'm trying to get it edited before noon.
And the other thing, I really hadn't been out there a lot because
everything else.
Well, the corn had done made.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the watermelons were
pumpkins were
fixing to
done.
come in. Well, I knew the watermelons were fixing to start getting ripe, and so I hadn't walked out there in a few, probably
back
in a
then.
week. Yeah, I hadn't even walked out there probably in a week or two, and for that to be there,
Mm-hmm.
and some of it's weird. I agree 100%. I've had some people comment, "Hey, that big black thing's weird," and I agree 100%. It is strange. I do not know what to say about it. The other ones,
Go back to
and
peace.
I'm trying to be careful here because I don't want to lead people on either. But it definitely was something there in that patch. Definitely later on it got caught again in the next video. Also, another person seen something in that video, and I didn't publish them pictures. One of them, it was so fast, even slowed down as slow as you could get the video. You just get a glimpse of something huge going into the woods. Now, it could have been a deer. We just don't know. But it was gray colored, and our deer are typically not gray here in Alabama.
What time's this thing starting?
What things start
tomorrow?
What things start tomorrow?
Fireside.
Oh, a bit 6. Like it always is. 6 o'clock.
I don't know if we were moving it back because of daylight.
No, that would probably be in November. So I agree. It's very strange. I'm not claiming nothing. I appreciate the people that seen the stuff in there. Yeah, I know one looks like I caught that. Yeah. I've kind of not said a whole lot about that.
Yeah.
I've kind of kept that.
There's one in there I call Donkey.
Yes, the little bitty thing. I have no idea what it is. Yeah, I don't know. It has a little white face and little ears and got a little snout, and it's kind of strange. I'll tell you, I've scratched my head over it. And this has been caught on different videos. So I mean, this wasn't one video. This was
and by different people.
By different people, yes. Yep. It just wasn't one person. This was several people. I received some pictures this past Sunday morning from a guy, and I don't know if he probably wouldn't care, but I won't do it unless I have his permission.
Right.
He sent me some pictures, and he said, "Mark, I seen this in your video from the September 7th. There's something blackish looking in there. There's no doubt about it. What? I don't know, and that's one reason I didn't put them in there. But like he said it may be something, may not be something. So it's just I know pictures get people tore up. I know next thing you know, you have folks wanting to get ugly about it, and I don't know why people do that. I mean, it's just a darn picture. But I mean, there's nothing else you can do with it. It's a picture, and I mean, you either believe it or you don't believe it. Or
all right, Mr. Joe.
What? It lives under Rebecca's bed. But what I'm saying is that's why I said in the video, it's up to y'all's judgment what you're looking at. And yes, I will say I believe there was something in the corn patch because there it is. And when I watched the videos in regular speed, you have to really be watching. I mean, you've got to be glued, and you need to do it on your TV.
Yep.
Where you can really see, because it's hard to do it on a phone or a laptop. You really need to do it on a full-size TV and play it. You will see some of this stuff, and you have to be ready to stop your video real quick, and you see the stuff. So not all of it. Some of it I couldn't never find. I tried to find it, but it was hard to find. And I know some of the time frames, but it's just.
Thank you, Blue Eye.
It's just it's so fast, and you've really got to be sitting there watching for it and to stop it and catch that. And I really appreciate the people who done that.
Yeah.
That took their time to do that, because I know that you had to sit there for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, to really do that.
And to get it to stop in just the right place.
And I really appreciate people doing that. And appreciate you informing me, hey, Mark, you got something in your video. I would have never dreamed something would have been that close to me in that corn patch. I should have known better.
I wouldn't have expected it twice in a row.
3 times in a row.
Well, I mean,
maybe.
Twice in a row. I wouldn't have expected it twice in a row even.
It told me something was coming pretty regular. When I did enter the corn patch at several different times, and yes, I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I didn't want to have no face-to-face 5 foot away in there with something, because there's some parts of that corn patch toward the back, full of morning glory, and anything could be squatted down 5 foot from you, and you wouldn't see it.
Yep.
So I was very easy when I went in that corn patch, easing around. Wasn't too happy about it, because y'all know, most of you know, if you ever been in a big corn patch, when you get in there, you can't see that far.
There's nothing else but corn.
So I eased around, especially kind of from the areas where the pictures came from. That's the areas I kind of concentrated on. There wasn't, I'll be honest with you, there was really no footprints much. I think I've seen some impressions that were very light impressions. It's, it's hard to say. I had some theories about it. And
that's the one that got me. That was the second video where it changed sides in that little hole.
Yeah, I guess it was watching me, and it had to get in a better where it could see me better, I guess. And that second time, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting them to be there the second time. I just figured I got lucky.
The third time.
I
wasn't there. That's how I didn't feel it.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, you correct, Miss Bama. I agree with you 100%. Just some folks don't know how to act about stuff.
They don't.
And I know there's a lot of legitimate pictures out there. I think it's like I told everybody, I have never seen one in the face real good. The first one I seen looked like a big puff of hair. I mean, kind of like a chow. You know how a chow has the big puff, and even with a rifle scope on his face, I couldn't even see his eyes back there. I couldn't see his nose. All I could see is a big puff of hair. And then the rest of them that I have got glimpses of or anything, I never seen their face. I just seen the outline of their body and everything. So, yeah. Well, even a couple of people commented, they said they could see the corn shucks moving. So, no, I did not smell nothing, Joe. I did not smell.
I was cutting grass and creating smells, so.
When the several, now let me go back and say something. Now I did remember I mentioned something to you one day. It was that day I had you come out with a tractor, and I was taking the watermelons, setting them in the bucket of the tractor. And remember what I said? That's why do I keep smelling cow manure?
Yep, I do remember that.
Now let me say
that
this.
was a different day.
Let me say this about cow manure. Me and her do not have cows right now. The closest cows is back up the road a half a mile. Now,
and
I checked the wind.
3 years.
And
we've been here 3 years.
So let me say this. I checked to see which way the wind was coming. That's the first thing I done. I said, which way is the wind coming from? Of course, I done it the old way, stick my finger in my mouth where I can feel the moisture, I mean, I know that's nasty, but anyway, I just done that because that was the best way to find out. The wind was not coming from them cows. The wind was coming from the north. There's no cows to the north of me for a long way, probably 6 miles before I get to any cows. I do not think that manure was coming. We smelt that up on the mountain. Yeah. It was crazy there at the lake. It was weird. So they, that's all I can say. I didn't smell them, didn't know they were there, didn't get no vibe, didn't see no movement. Sister, on the first video was the only thing. And I said, well, she's acting kind of weird. And then a few minutes later, she got smart and went to the house. And And I even propped up on the back of my truck to finish the video with my back to that corn patch. So
Yep.
if I, ain't no telling if I'd had a back camera on me,
What you would
what I would have caught. Them suckers may have got down there close to me, and I
Yep.
didn't even think, and didn't even realize it.
All right, let me get you to go back to these questions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is a hard one to answer. I would probably never trust one, to be honest with you, because the way I think. Because I lean. Ooh, I try to stay out of this subject. So I do lean toward the Nephilim, descendant of some type of Nephilim. Could be 100% wrong on this. But that's the way I feel. And I've felt that way for years. I just didn't start feeling it yesterday or 6 months ago. I've been feeling that for years. I've just always kept that to myself pretty good. I started off flesh and blood. Things started progressing over time, different crazy things happening, different other friends experiencing things. And yeah, you're right, Mr. Mark. It is hard to answer. We hear reports of them attacking people, and then we hear reports of people befriending them. And I'm not going to sit here and say these folks are lying either side because I don't know. I wasn't there, and I can't say, this person over here can be so, well, they attacked our house, they done this and then this and then this, and I can't really not believe them because I wasn't there. But also when the people say, hey, they're friendly doing this, I mean, it's kind of a two-way street there, just like Mr. Mark said. It's right. It's hard to answer. But
I'm with Misty.
What's Misty saying?
Both good and bad.
Right. You don't know what you're dealing with. I mean, you really don't. And Miss Bama has a very good point, too. So, yeah. So I agree. To me, I wouldn't get myself in no situation where I couldn't get out of there. I'd always, put myself in a position where I could get away. And, yeah. And always, if you're going to booger hunt or paranormal hunt or any of this stuff, please pray up before you get out there.
Protect yourself. I'm going to say it kind of like this. I know that the equation I'm fixing to say is not how it is, but you can take the friendliest dog in the world and put it in the wrong situation, and it is no longer the friendliest dog in the world.
Very good
I have
point.
heard of dogs eating their owners, all sorts of stuff like that. So, like somebody said, it's their nature. I wouldn't trust them either. You don't know what they're going to do, even if they are nice today.
Right. And there was times, a lot of times up on Creepy Mountain, boogers were around us everywhere. Me and Keith, Adam, Pat, many other people over the years, and we never had nothing aggressive happen. The only time there was only a couple of times I got a little nervous. I mean, what I call real nervous was
when I used to threaten my daughter with that one.
One followed me out coon hunting one night right on my heels. I do not know what he was up to. I really don't. I could see his silhouette. I turned around and faced him because something told me to turn around and face him. I don't know if that was the Lord told me to do that or what told me to do that, but I turned around and faced him. He stopped. And all I could see was his body outline. I had a big light. I could have thrown the light on him, but something told me not to do that either. Just told me to face him. I hollered for Keith, and Larry, that's who was with me, Keith and Larry. I told them to get the rifle and come back down there because I had something right on my heels. And I turned around, started walking again. He followed again. He was making high steps. He was gaining ground. I broke out into a cutover. And that's when he stopped. He stopped. He would not come in the cutover. We all three could see his outline down there, but we never put the lights on him. I don't know what he was up to. He may have just been trying to scare me out of there. He may have been wanting that dog I had. I do not know. I do not know. Yes, I agree, Misty, especially with paranormal. Well, any of them, but yeah, I agree with that one too. Yeah. So it's a hard question to answer, Mr. Mark. D, it's just hard to answer that. Just always be careful. Just be careful.
That statement right there just brings back so many memories.
Yeah.
Ella doing stuff wrong. In the wild, parents eat their young.
Now, Kumbo has experienced aggressive. Greg House has experienced a lot of aggressive stuff. Right. So just be careful. Be very careful. Some of us do believe, I'm not naming names, but a lot of us do believe they have an evil component to them, which us humans do too.
Menopausal women.
Oh, Lord. So just be careful. If you got them on your property, be careful. Just watch what you're doing. Don't get yourself in a tight spot. If you go out booger hunting, I mean, Kumbo had some of the best advice. Always have your vehicle pointed out, ready to go, and don't hand somebody else your keys because they may lock you outside the car. I think that happened to him one time, and that's why he really pushes that.
Don't hand nobody the keys.
Because now I've been around when they got to throwing rocks, and one time they got throwing rocks, and I think they was meaning throwing rocks. I think they wasn't playing no more, and they done it up there at Little Bear Creek, and there's a lot of people can testify they were throwing rocks big as baseballs, and they ended up hitting Miss Vicky. Well, it didn't hit her. It hit the tree, Misty. Bounced off, and hit her in the foot. I can't remember Miss Vicky's last name. Some of y'all in here know who I'm talking about, but it hit her on the foot. There was another guy that night, got a tree limb thrown at him, about near hit him. They were wanting us out of there. They didn't like us. They didn't like us being there. I mean, I had one scream 10 to 15 foot from me and some cattails in the water because I was in a canoe. And me and Keith started paddling real quick, trying to catch up with the rest of the crew. So, stud horse or even a bull, a lot of animals can be very aggressive when that's going on.
Yep.
And you have to be careful. Cattle, same way. I had a good friend of mine here 2 years ago. Got killed by a heifer. She got him down on the ground and she went to mashing him with her head. And I mean, she tore him up pretty good. And leave
me out of that, y'all.
Yeah. So be very careful. But go back to the pictures.
But yes, I do.
I published the ones that I thought most people could see fairly decent. There's a lot of them that's just hard to tell. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you can tell something there, but it's just hard to tell what you're looking at. I appreciated everybody who let me know about them, sent them, and took the time to do all they done with them, because I know that took a while, and that was aggravating, because I tried to watch a lot of them slow down too, and buddy, I'm going to tell you, that gets on your nerves after a little while, and especially if you listen to the person talk. Somebody told me to turn your volume down when you done it. That way it wouldn't drive you crazy, and they right. So,
that turning the volume down helped.
Well, no, you didn't put me on the spot. It's just it's hard to answer that. I mean, it's really just hard to answer that, because you hear one side over here saying the bloodthirsty bloodthirsty killers, and one side over here saying they're friendly, and and then you have the ones of us in the middle of going like, you know, it's you know, it's hard to say. So,
Yep.
But on the pictures, that's all I can tell you.
I like this answer here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And we know they're attracted to women and kids. That bothers me right off the bat. That bothers me.
Sister Squirrel checking in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, it got kind of rough. I'm going to talk one day about that outing. I need to have Coombo present, and I need to have Keith present. And it'd be good if I had Pat Rance there too, because all I know us were there.
Which you can get them all on here.
Yeah, I may have to talk about that.
4 people.
Day. And there's some more people. Lori was
6
there.
up here, actually.
Huh?
I think you can get 6 on here.
Yeah, Lori was there. Dan and Vicky was there. Who was all there? I'm trying to think. No, you're not getting up right now, sister. Oh man, there was a bunch of people.
Come here, sister.
Everybody.
I didn't say come that way.
Well, you asked for it, and she's gonna knock that mouse, and you're gonna have trouble. All right, but I'm sorry about that.
Sister had to do her thing.
Yep. So.
And sister's still up here doing her thing.
Yep. So.
Let me turn this mouse off for a little bit.
There you go. That thing can get you in trouble.
It will.
Done got us a bunch of times.
Yep.
Got me the other day with Squatch and Holler yesterday.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, got me right there during the show.
Well, sister, tell your audience hello.
Okay. She said, all righty. Oh, we're going to yell. We're going to yawn in front of everybody, huh? I'm ready for bed, Daddy. It's getting late.
Hey, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, we finna have to get off here. It's almost 9 o'clock.
And we got to be up at
You gotta be up pretty early.
Going at 6.
So, all right, y'all. I know there's a few people we need to say prayer for. We'll get ready to close this out. If you have any more questions about the pictures, I'll try to answer for you. Send me a message or go comment on the video. And if I see the question, I'll try to answer it. I will be watching around my house a lot of times when I'm filming. I know when I get up on the club, I'm going to be paying more attention because I had one person mention that they seen something in the Blue Man video. I did go back and did find that, but I need to go to that spot on the hunting club and see.
So did we find the Blue Man?
No, it wasn't
Blue
just Man,
in the
but
Blue Man video.
I think there's a booger there, but
Okay,
it's
cool.
hard to say. I need to go to that spot and make sure.
Who let the dog out?
See if it ain't a stump or something, just to make sure, And I just ain't had time to get back.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah. So I'll try to get up there. Well, I was going to say tomorrow, but I won't have time to get over on that part of the club tomorrow. Appreciate everybody being on tonight. I appreciate all the kind comments.
Making my life hard.
And appreciate everybody coming on and joining us. I know we've been kind of long-winded, but I appreciate everybody's comments on the sister one. We got to get in my stuff. Lord have mercy. But I appreciate everybody. Hello, Mr. Barton. Good to see you on here with us. It's just hard to say. I mean, and it's just hard to say.
Sister, you hot.
But I do think there's a lot of.
She's coming your way.
All right, now, sister.
She got to get out of the way.
You're getting on my nerves here. So, but anyway.
Oh, there's actually stuff in there.
Yes, I still had some prune juice in there.
Had. Sister helped herself.
Right. Yeah, I know. What a dog. Like I said, We'll end in prayer here in just a minute because I know a couple of people in chat said something about some problems going on. I don't want to go deep into their problems, but we're gonna pray about it. And I tell you who I didn't see tonight, Mr. David Hughes has not been here.
I didn't see him.
I hope everything's going out with David. I'll have to check with him. That's very unusual for him. Y'all remember to love one another just like Christ commanded. Get along, love one another, be kind because it don't cost nothing. We got a lot of things coming. There's a lot of deception coming, and I think y'all know a lot of it's going to deal with these aliens.
Yep, you're late, Mr. Bell.
Hey, good to see you, Mr. Bell. Good to see you. Hope you're doing a lot better. Hope you're doing better. Been praying for you about that. I know how it is. Y'all be praying for Mr. Bell tonight too, and be praying. We're going to pray for Crystal, daughter, and anybody else on here that needs prayer. I know Mr. Mark's doing better from his eye surgery, and it's good to see him on here tonight. Glad that's going good. So we'll say a short prayer. Y'all know everybody we support, Misty and Spencer over at Woodwalkers.
Southern Appalachian Sasquatch Searchers.
Yep. And Chris on Discover Sasquatch. Y'all go. Chris had Mr. Flat Rock on the other night, and that done real good. And Squatch and Holler. Of course, I was on there last night, done a little show with him, enjoyed it. And he's growing, doing very good. Sister, you killing me. You're the biggest baby I have ever seen in my life for a dog. But anyway, I can't. Mr. Martin, Mr. Barton, y'all go check him out. He's got some good stuff going on. Of course, the Beast guys, Mark and Mr. Mark and Larry. Y'all have to forgive me.
Channel.
Huh?
The other one with the channel.
Other one with the channel.
The girl.
The girl with the channel.
I can't remember her name. She
girl
just did her channel.
Who?
She just created her channel not too long ago.
Oh, PJ.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
My brain does not work, guys. Yeah. I am horrible with names. Let me just go ahead and tell you that now.
Yeah, y'all go check out PJ. In fact, she put a video out this week, and I've got to go watch that. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm tired today. I've slept about 4 hours and fought with tractors and trailers and trying to get a tire ordered, and they do not keep nothing in stock no more. Lord have mercy. You cannot go nowhere no more without and not get something. So
no.
Yeah, I didn't see PJ tonight on.
Yes, PJ, y'all.
Yeah, PJ Arkansas. She just started her channel, and she's got some good stuff talking about what's went on her property over the years. And y'all go support her. She dealt a lot with anxiety and everything from these things, and she's getting better with it. And
this helps to deal with it, being able to talk about it.
So y'all go help her, support her channel, and she's gonna have a lot of good stuff. And hey, somebody else I didn't see tonight was Janelle. So
they may be camping.
Yeah. The name of PJ's is PJ Arkansas.
Yeah.
Something of the Giants. Land of the Giants. I think that's it. Somebody in here.
If you type in PJ Arkansas though into YouTube, it should pull it up.
Yeah, it should be on. It should pull up. Yes. Yeah. And I'm sorry tonight. I'm kind of goofy acting here at the end. I just getting wore out. It aggravated me when I got loaded a tractor up on a trailer, and then the trailer had a flat, and then I had to jack it up. Then when I took off the tire, found out the tire was no good no more, and here we go. So just one of those things. But anyway.
And my week has gone like this. I'm supposed to work an 11 to 5 today, and they call me and say, hey, I need you to come in at 8. Yesterday it was the same way. I'm supposed to work 5 to close, and they call me and say, hey, I need you to come in at noon. Well, then they call me at 7:30 or 8 and say, hey, we need you to come in as quickly as you can. So that's how my week is gone.
All right, you ready to close?
Yep.
All right, let's say a short prayer and we'll get off here. I know everybody else has got stuff to do and all that. So, Lord, thank you for letting us come together tonight, Lord, in the chat and have good fellowship and talk about different things and learn from each other. Thank you, Lord, for everything you do for us each and every day, being with us, taking care of us. Thank you for your patience, your love, your kindness to us, taking care of us, even though, Lord, sometimes we don't deserve it. Thank you, Lord, for your Son. And then you sent him to earth to help redeem us from our sins and death, Lord. Lord, be with each and every one of them, everybody that's been on this chat tonight and their families. Whatever kind of problems they have, Lord, they have going on. It be health or other problems, Lord, financially or drama or whatever it may be, Lord, or whatever kind of spirits are moving along that's causing a lot of problems, Lord. You be with them and let's pray for them, Lord. Pray for Crystal's daughter and pray for Mr. Mark. His eyes get better. And whoever else I missed, or I'm not doing it on purpose, Lord. I just can't always remember everything, but you know who they are. Be with us as we go on the weekend. Take care of us. Forgive us for our sins, Lord, and help us forgive others. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. Everybody have a good weekend. We love all y'all. And remember what I said. Love one another. It don't cost nothing. Don't say you have to like them, but you know, Christ commands to love them.
There's a difference between liking somebody and loving them.
It is. So, and we'll see y'all next time. And I may have a video from the two guys from the hunting club. I hope so. But we'll see what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, y'all have a good
Mr.
night.
Schilling made it on.
Who?
Mr. Schilling.
Okay. Yeah, Billy's been in here.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Billy was in here.
And anybody I missed in the
same. I know I missed
hello.
some people.
I missed y'all. You know, if I didn't speak to you or something. I try to speak to everybody that comes in here.
Same.
And Cynthia Johns, glad to have you. So all right.
We good?
Yeah. All
right. So hopefully we'll get you a video put out Monday for Homestead, and hopefully we'll get you a video put out for Wednesday, and we'll see you back again here Friday again.
All right. Y'all take care. Hey, Rex. Good to see you too, man. Bye-bye.
Can't hit that button.